Identity and access management. This service, it's a service, is used to manage and control access into your AWS account. All right? It's used to control and manage access into your AWS accounts, right? So when we say AWS accounts, means every services. When we say AWS accounts, we are referring to every AWS services. All right? So now, in this IAM, we are going to see how we can create users. All right? We will see how to create users, create groups, add users to groups, assign permissions to users and groups. Okay? And there's another part to this guy. We also have rules and policies. Let's see where it will lead us to policies. All right? So now, without further ado, let's hop on towards my AWS account and see how to create users. So I'll come over here. Close this guy. Close this guy. Duplicates. Duplicates. It's a service. So I'll say what? IAM. IAM. So I need to create users, right? Let's create users. So this is the dashboard. All right. You can see I already have MFA for this account. We'll talk about all of that. Let me talk about, let me put it down. Let's see also how to talk about MFA. MFA, which is multi-factor authentication. Multi-factor authentication means when you have two layer of security, all right? Two layer of security. The first layer is you providing your password, all right? The second layer is an OTP, right? A one-time password, an OTP that you use to finally gain access to your account, all right? So guys, let's see what's popping. I want to create a user. So once I open the service, on my left-hand side, I'll see access management, access reports. All right. Under access management, I have user groups, users, roles, policies, identity providers, account settings. All right. So let's start with what? Users. I click on users. So all the users I have on this account will be here. I can click on what? Create user. Create user. I'll give it a name. I can say PK. Now, see you. This user, if I go to next, if I click on next, see, there's an option here. Provide user access to the AWS management console. It's optional. All right? It's optional. AWS didn't make it mandatory. Now, access to the management console is this console. All right? it means that this user will be able to log into the GUI. That's what this thing means. So if I check this box, this guy will have, you have to create password for this guy. All right. Now let's provide this guy with that access. Okay, let me not provide this guy with this access first. Let's do it first. All right. I want this guy to have what? Access to what? The management console. Now, it's asking of auto-generated password. All right. Or custom password. You can come with your own password or you can generate your own password. So below here is a password complexity. It says that the password must be 8 characters long and it must have uppercase letters. It must have lowercase letters. It must contain numbers. It must contain 1 alphanumeric character. Now, let's create our own password instead of auto-generating password for us. Let's create our own password. So guys, watch you everything I'm doing. So on Linux, on Bash, which we'll start by God's grace tomorrow, you can generate passwords online. All right, you can generate passwords online, but I want to generate my own password if I have terminal. So there's a utility called base64. All right, so base64, it is an encoding and decoding utility. This utility is used for encoding something or decoding something. All right. So I want to use this guy to generate a random password. So this is what I will do. I'll just say echo. Echo, I will explain. Echo is a command that is used to throw back whatever you assign to it. All right. It's going to output whatever input you give to it. Now, if I give it hello, so echo is going to echo me back that hello. So if I hit enter, so I'm going to get hello. So that's what echo is. All right. So echo, like when we were in school those days, when we were studying physics, to echo, we are told that echo is a sound in the context of sound. Sorry, all right, in the context of sound. But when you're in between 2 blocks and you try to, or you are in an open space, all right, in a flat that there's no property inside the flat, and you try to make a noise, that noise will come back to you, all right, a sound heard after the reflection of a sound wave, all right, from a plane surface. You get the sound back. Anything you give in, you get it back. So the same thing, the same concept is used in creating this utility. All right. Echo, Frank. You're imputing Frank, and that command is giving you back Frank. So that's what echo is. So I want to use echo. My password will be something like 12. That's my password. So I want to encode this password. So I'll encode it with base64. Now, okay, it has to be, let me make it more longer. Echo red hat base64 encoding. Is it N or, all right. Should I put this? No. Ordinary. Okay, great. All right, great. Now there's a command. Echo this guy. You encode. I'm encoding this guy. I'm encoding this password, this word, red hat. The actual word is red hat. So I'm using a tool, a utility, to encode it. So you will not know what this thing is until it's decoded, right? So any tool that does encoding is not always secured, because if I see this literal somewhere, I'll know that this guy has been used. I'll know that this literal was generated out of base 64. Base 64 encoding. So if I want to decode this guy, this is what I would do. I'll just say base 64. I'll copy and paste this guy. Okay, there should be a way. All right, not like this. Let's echo. I'll echo that guy. Let me echo it. Then I'll say base 64-D. Guys, watch. So anything you encode, you can decode it. You can see we have decoded this guy because it's a meaningful something. So you be careful how you use base 64 to encode a text, because an experienced fellow, once he sees this double dash, most of the time they come with this double dash. Sorry, this double equals to sign. When anybody that is experienced sees this thing, so this thing was encrypted. It's not encryption. Was encoded using what? Base 64. So it means that once I have this literal, this string, once I'm in possession of this string, it is possible that I can decode what's inside of this string, which we just did here. That's it, right? So just want to use this guy for, this guy will not be possible. There's no special character here. All right, so let me add a special character. So echo red hat at 123. All right, so I'm going towards encode it. Oh, sorry, there's a special character. Sorry, guys. This equal to sign is a special character. So that's fine. So let's copy this guy. Copy. Then let me give it as my custom password. All right. If I show the password, so that's it. Now, I have another filter here, says that user must create a new password at next sign in. So it says recommended. Now, assuming that you're creating this account for a developer, someone in your team that does not have access to the AWS accounts, it is advisable you generate a password for them. Now, the next step is you always check this box so that when they now try to log in, they should be able to change their own password by themselves. So let's see this feature and see. So I'll click on next. Now I need to give this guy some permission. All right, some inbuilt policies. So this is what I will do. I'm going to come to attach policies. Come to attach policy. So I need to give this guy, depending on what I need to give him. So I need to give him admin access. If you need to give him admin access. All right. So meaning that he can access anything. But if you don't want to give him an admin access, you just want to give him EC2 access. I'll search for EC2. EC2 full access. So once I give this user EC2 full access, it means that this user should be able to access only EC2. Only EC2. Guys, listen, oh, there was an interview I attended in Japan. There's one company in Japan. It's a security role. Not really a security, it's a cloud engineer role, but they're hiring me into a security team. So there were intrinsic questions this guy asked me, man. They call this policy a fine grain access control. Guys, collect the OTO. A fine grain access control. Now, when we say a fine grain access control, it means you give users access to resources that they need. Give user access to resources that they need to carry on their job, their tasks. All right. Give users access to resources they would need they would need to carry on their task. So what this thing means is, if this user activity, this user task is centered around EC2, is centered around virtual machines, only give him what he needs, which is virtual machine. Do not come and start giving this guy container access. Do not start giving him SSM access, or you give him a full access, because administrative access is a full access to all the services in your AWS account. I don't want to take that risk. I want to narrow down my access to this for this guy. So giving him full access, it means that this guy can shut down the EC2 instance. He can create EC2 instance. He can do a lot of things with my EC2 instances. But what if in a situation where I just want to give this guy a read-only access? It means that this guy can only read the EC2 instance. He can't do anything. He can't create. Let's see this access and see. All right, let's just see this access. Now, I click on next. Now, this user should be able to log into the console. There's one other policy I need to add. Let me go back previous. I need to attach another policy. Let me call it it's something console, login console. Console full access. This is glue. Console full access. This somewhere. It is somewhere. They come. Well, let me check. Let me check that access. It should be somewhere. Duplicates. Let me check the actual name. Users. Omero. My permissions. Okay, I am change password. Okay, change password. Okay. Okay, I am change password. For this guy to be able to change his password. Okay, it's called I am user change password. Sorry. I am user change password. That's what I am user change password. So you need to give this guy, so that's because we've set that option in the previous page that this user should be able to change his password, right? So I'm giving this guy this policy. So without this policy, this guy will not be able to change his password. So I want him to be able to change his password. So I'm also assigning this policy to this user, that this user should be able to change his password. Click on next. You can see the two policies I have added. You can only have a read-only access to EC2 instances, and he can change his password. Click on create user. Now, this guy wants to log in, PK user. This is the login URL. So you're going to share the login URL, or you download the CSV, all right? So if you download this CSV file, this CSV file contains the user's login details. Let's open it. Now, it contains the username, the password, and the console login URL. So this is what I will do. I will copy this console. Let me open a cognito window. I will paste that guy. I will hit enter. So this guy wants to log into his account. Guys, watch you. This is the ID. The I am user, the name is what? PK. And the password is something, here's that password. Copy. Paste the password. Sign in. Now you can see that policy is now taking effect. The policy of this user can change his password, all right? So it's requesting for the old password. I've pasted it. Now the new password Let me try to type something. Confirm password change. Now, this user, PK, has successfully logged on to his account. Now, see what's happening now. Let's change to Ireland, EU West 1. And we were told that this user only has EC2 read access. All right. Now I come to EC2. See, only read access, instances. This guy wants to create an EC2 instance. Let's try and see if this guy can create an EC2 instance. Launch. PK VM. Watch. Keeper. Frankie. Network. VPC-A. Sub-A. Existing security group. ASG. That's okay. Launch instance. Guys, can you now see the policy in effect? You are not authorized to perform this operation. Encoded authorization failure message. So this guy does not have that right to create an EC2 instance. Now let's try to see if this guy can shut down an EC2 instance. Okay, let me see if this guy can start. Let's look for this guy. Terraform, right? He stopped already. Let him start this instance. Start instance. You are not authorized to perform this operation. So he will not be able to do anything except to read. Just to read. Only for EC2 instance. Now let's try this guy. This guy wants to access this service. I am. See you. What are you seeing? You're seeing tomatoes everywhere. Stew full, tomato stew full everywhere. Access denied, access denied. Access denied everywhere. You can't do anything because what? It doesn't have the access. It can't do anything. You do not have permission to request access. Copy the following blah blah blah. You don't have any access because that is the policy that was assigned to you. Now let's change something now. Let me come back here now. All right. Come back to this user. Where is that user? Go to users. Users. The user is PK, right? Refresh. PK. Open PK. Now, I need to assign more policy to this guy, more permission. Under permission, click on add permission. Add permission. Attach policy directly. Click on attach policy directly. So now, I want this guy to be able to full access, EC2 full access, or I want to give him administrative access, which is not good, guys. I just want to show us something. That's okay. Click on next. Add permission. So you can see this guy now has what? 3 permissions. However, this EC2 read-only access is embedded inside of what? Administrative access, because admin access you're the super user, all right? So if I now refresh this guy browser, see you, if I refresh this guy now, see you, Viola, this guy now has access. So if I go back and delete this policy, I'll remove this permission. Remove. Yes, remove policy. If I come here now, if I refresh, it will take time. It's coming. Can see access denied is denying now. Gradually, accesses are being denied. Access denied. Let's see. Let's see. Come rows VFS. Now come back to users. Everything, anywhere. Come to dashboard. Access denied. You can't do anything. You cannot do anything. Access denied. You can't see that user self. You can't view anything about that user. Access denied. His own user. Access denied. So this is how you assign a fine-grained access. All right? A fine-grained access using what? Policies. So these are inbuilt policies. All right? They're inbuilt policies. As we progress in the course, in this program, all right, we might come to a situation where we need to create custom policies. All right. We will also see how to create custom policies. Good thing, AWS has a well-detailed documentation on all of these things. All right. So great. So now, that user, we've created that user and we gave them what? Only read-only access. You can as well remove this access. Remove policy. This guy will not be able to even view EC2 instance. Where's that EC2 instance? EC2. Yes, ma'am. You can't see anything. Look at, you're seeing error everywhere. API error, instances. You are not authorized to perform this operation. You can't even see to read. You are seeing the level of control. That's the level of control. Take note, it's a fine-grained access. You'll be asked in an interview, what do you understand by a fine-grained access control on AWS? You give them what they need. What they don't need, don't give them access to it. You only give them access to what they want. All right, great. Now, let's say, for instance, now, I create a group. I want to create a group now. Let me call this group, create a group. Let me call it DevOps. DevOps. All right. DevOps. Then this DevOps group, they have admin access full-time. I want to attach policy. All right. I don't want to attach user to the group directly. I'll show us later. I want to attach policy. I'll click create group. So this DevOps group, they have, if I open it, permission, they have full permission. So it means that any user that is assigned to this group will also have full permission. So now I open the DevOps group, I go to users, there are no users. I can add users to that group. I want to add PK, add the user, is added. So automatically, this user PK is going to inherit the permission assigned to the group. So this PK user is a member of the group DevOps. So whatever permissions that are assigned to the DevOps group is going to affect the members, the group members. Now let's check this guy now. Come over here. Let's refresh. This guy is back to life because he's inheriting the permissions that are assigned, all right, to the group. So this is the play, guys. All right. So this is what we get. All right. So we've seen users, we've seen groups, we've also seen policies, inbuilt policies, right? So roles are, roles are assigned to identities, all right? They are feature that is assigned to identities. Identities are the users, all right? Services, okay? Roles, they control what a service can access, can perform, all right? So through roles, we can create custom policies. So Policies are attached to roles. Every role has an inbuilt policy. Now, let's go back to this group. DevOps group. Permission. Let me remove this permission. Remove. All right? Delete. Now I come to roles. Let me create a role. Create a role. That role is AWS service. The use case, let's say the use case will be EC2. All right? Just EC2. Then I click next. So I want to attach a policy to that role. So I can now say this role, I want to attach EC2 read access, EC2 read only access. All right? I say next. I'll give the role a name. I'll call it EC2 read only. Read only. Then I'll create a role. This role has been created. Now I want to use this role. I want to attach this role to the group, DevOps group. All right. I'll come to DevOps. Permission. Come to add permission. Click this drop down. Let me see. Attach policy. Let me see if I can get that. Attach policy. Okay, I need to create. Let me see. EC2. I'm coming on. This is policy. No, this is policy. Roles. Okay. Roles are assigned to identities. I see. So I don't think we can attach. Why can't I attach? Wait, let me search for that guy. Maybe this. If I click on it, all right, this is a permission in there. Okay, you can only assign it to identities like services. You can assign it to services. Role. All right, no wala. We will see a better application of roles. All right, but take note that roles has embedded policies in them. Every role comes with a policy, right? Policy, what that role is supposed to do, what the role is supposed to do. So this role, with this policy, this role is supposed to only grant read-only access, all right? That's the role. So we're going to see how to attach roles, right? We attach roles to services, all right? Policies are attached to identities. Identities are the users and groups, okay? That's it, guys. So what else? Let's look at whiteboard. So we've seen users, we've seen groups, we've seen adding users to groups, we've seen assigning permissions to users and groups. We've seen policies. We're going to see roles later parts in the program, right? So MFA, let's see MFA so that we can call it a day. Now, let me assign that guy back. Let me give him his access. Access is gone. Let me give him back his access. Come here. DevOps. Let me delete this row. I don't need it. Delete the row. Copy the role name. Delete. Groups. DevOps. Permission. Add permission. Attach policy. The policy was and let me give him admin access. Let me give them added. So if I refresh this guy, his access should be back. Great. It's back. Now, MFA. Come back to users. This user account. Open this user account. Security credentials. Come to security credentials. Okay. AWS CLI. I'll talk about that later when we get into Linux. Don't worry. Now I can configure MFA for that user. All right. Assign MFA device. Click on MFA. Now, device name, I could give it a PK MFA. All right. MFA device. I'm going to be using Authenticator app. So Authenticator app, there's different Authenticator apps. So if I come to Google, Authenticator apps. All right, there are different Authenticator apps for multi-factor authentication. Where they show me this in list of Authenticator app. Let's check the list. It's a best, whatever. Let's check. Let's check. Okay, yeah. We have Microsoft. Okay, these are Authenticator apps, right? We have Google Authenticator. We have 2FA Authenticator. We have Dual Mobile. We have Microsoft Authenticator. We have two-factor authenticator, MFA Authenticator, UT Authenticator app. There are a lot, guys, a lot. So what me I use Google Authenticator. Okay, I use Google Authenticator, which is this guy. Okay, you can download it from the App Store. All right, you can always download it from the App Store. Let me show you us the let me show you how it looks like. Let me show us how it looks like. I don't know if you can see. I don't know if you see it from here. I don't know if you can see. Can you see this icon? Oh, not that one. This one. Can you see it? Authenticator. It looks like a star. So you can always browse it from your Google Play Store. So that's it. All right. Browse from your Google Play Store. Okay. So that's what I'll be using. Okay. So that's what I will be using. Great. So 1 second, guys. Okay. So let's now create an MFA for this guy. So I'm going to be using what? An authenticator app. So just scroll and click on it next. So once I click on next, so it will ask me to scan the QR code. All right. Scan the QR code. Okay. So I want to scan this QR code now. What name did I give to it? Okay, PK MFA. I can always remove it. So on my authenticator app now, I am so I just needed, how can I show? So no walasha. If you have any challenge, just reach out to me. Right. So once you open your authenticator app, you see a plus at the bottom. You see a plus at the bottom. So I've just opened my authenticator app. All right. So there's a plus at the bottom here, this plus. So I'll click on this plus. So once I click on this plus, look at the option. The option there is scan a QR code. All right. So I'm going to click on scan a QR code. Scan QR code. All right. So now it's going to bring up, that's gone off. Scan QR code. Now this is what is coming up now. All right. So I'm going to scan. The moment I scan this code, it will go off. It has saved that guy now. You can see I now have this guy named PKMFA. I don't know if you can see the last one, which is this guy. This is PKMFA. It has added that PKMFA. So the next the next field, which is step 3, says fill in 2 consecutive codes from your MFA device. Fill in 2 consecutive codes from your MFA device. So I'll fill the first code. First code is 647. 7167. So I'll wait for the next one. The next one, it loads. Wait for the next one. So the next one is 748351. Once I'm done, I can now click on what? Add MFA. So the moment I click on add MFA, if I go to, yes, you can see now, multi-factor authentication, this guy has it. It has been added. So if I go to permissions, not here, security credentials, MFA, this user has MFA. So if I now go to this user account that I log in with, PK, if I go to I am on his account, I am, and I go to users, all right, okay, on my dashboard even, on my dashboard, you will see that I have MFA enabled. I have MFA enabled. So now let's see this MFA in action, all right? I go to user, I go to PK, credential, I have it. So let me log out of this guy. Let me log out, sign out. Let me try to sign in again, that same user. The ID don't come out. That ID was this, I think, yeah. The user is PK. The password, I still have the password. If I hit on sign in, the MFA, the account is incorrect. Let me check. Come over here. The user, this is the user, right? Console access. You can always copy this console, this thing from here for this user. Console signing for that user. Copy this guy, right? Come over here, paste it, all right? That's for that user. Let's see, why is it PK now? User is PK. Password, right? Sign in. All right, so you can now see that the MFA is now coming into effect, right? So without my authenticator app and the code in my authenticator app, I may not be able to gain access into this account. So let me now input the code from my authenticator app, 265, submit. You can see I can now what? Authenticate with my what? With my account, with that user. So this is it, guys, all right? This is how you set up MFA on your account. You can also set MFA on your root account, all right? So if I go and remove it, come back here. If I don't want it again, I will select this guy. I'll click on what? Remove. Are you sure? Remove. MFA has been removed. So if I log out of this guy, sign out. If I log back in again, user is PK, password. Let me just copy console sign-in link, paste it. That's for that user. All right. So you see that it will just go automatically without the MFA. Password. So it will just log me in directly. So you can see, so there's no MFA anymore. So far, so good, guys. That is So with this, we have partially, all right, we have partially come to the end of AWS, all right? Partially, like I said, AWS is a continuous process because we will be coming back to the cloud. We will be coming back to the cloud. There are services that we'll work with that will require us to come to the cloud. Then we'll come to the cloud. We will now learn how to use that service and we'll go back to on-premise. All right, so let me delete this user. Delete this user. PK. All right, so so far so good. Any question, guys? Any question? Version. Let me add one pro bono. Let me add one. Let me give us bonus. All right. Now, let's say, for instance, you have an EC2 instance that you don't want to terminate. You don't want to terminate. If I click on this version to terminate it now, see you. I can terminate it. I don't want to terminate it. I want to show something. So there's a feature called termination protection. So termination protection is disabled by default. So termination protection, it will guide you against accidentally terminating your EC2 instances. So if you have a critical instance, an instance that runs critical workloads, it is always in your it is always best, okay, in your good hold, all right, it is always best to enable termination protection, because you don't know, somebody might just want to mistakenly click stop or reboot. You don't know, you just went and clicked terminate and terminate. You just delete the entire workload in production. So to avoid this kind of mistake, it's always good you enable termination protection on your EC2 instances. And how do we do that? So select the EC2 instance, you come to actions, you come to instance settings, and click on what? Change termination protection. So click on it and click on what? Enable. That's all, guys. Click on save. It has been saved. It has been enabled. So if I try to terminate this instance now, look at now. Come here, terminate. You can see now it has changed from disabled to what? To enabled. Terminate. I'll get an error. Fail to terminate an instance. The instance may not be terminated. Modify its disable API termination instance attribute and try again. All right. So with this termination protection, I can't terminate this instance until I go back to instance settings, change termination protection, and disable that guy. I click on save. Then I should be able to terminate this instance success. You can see it's disabled now. Terminate. This instance is now going down. So that is it, guys. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. So I think we are all done. We're through. So let me delete everything about this VPC. Delete VPC. So any other query, guys? Internet gateway, IGA. Detach first. Detach. The public words. RA. Routes. Edit routes. Remove. Save. Internet gateway. IGW. Come here. Detach. Detach. It's gone. IGW. Action. Delete. delete, delete. What else? Routable. What do we have? ROTA, action, delete. It's not going. Subnet, sub A, action, delete, delete. Routable, ROTA, action, delete, delete, delete. VPC, VPCA, action, delete, delete. All right. So yeah, man, I've cleared my entire VPC. That's good. Then yeah, it's been cleared as well. Security group, let's check. Security group, ASG, as well as this guy as well. I don't know of those guys. Action, delete, delete. Blah 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 does not exist. That's okay. Refresh. They are gone. What else, guys? Users. All right. So this thing does not exist anymore. If I view user, does not exist. That's fine. Yeah, that's it. That's it. All right, guys. It was nice having you today. So see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow we are starting with Linux. All right. We've seen basic networking. We've seen AWS cloud computing. So tomorrow we'll be starting with what's Linux. So Linux is going to be a bit long journey, probably let's say a month or so. But we will get there, guys. We'll get there. All right. We'll get there. So please, if you've not seen Benga, try and see Benga. All right. Because it's a smooth journey. It's one step at a time. Now small, we go do all right. Okay, we go do all right. We go do all right, so that our energy will be pacified by things like that. Right. So it was nice having you guys, man. See you tomorrow by 7 p.m. No Allah. Mm-hmm.